This is a Cat, the Cat 242D. Engine, you have fuel water separator. You turn this to drain out the water that gets in the system. You have a battery cutoff switch. You need to turn this off anytime you're gonna leave the machine parked for extended hours. You have the coolant overflow bottle. This will let you know what your coolant level is, as well as, if you check up here, has a small little view sight glass there that should be at least in the halfway point for that. That's how to check your coolant. Cat ELC coolant. Over here you have the oil fill neck. It's right here. And on the top of the engine here, you have your fuel lines that lead off into the injector pump that's on this side here. Now behind this guy, we have the alternator. This is real easy to come off. You just turn these guys sideways and this panel will come off, and you'll have access to the alternator, water pump, and belt system underneath there. This is your diesel fuel, of course. Do not fill that with hydraulic. And this is your air filter. The engine access is pretty easy on this. You have your battery down here on the bottom. When you're going to do oil changes, you have a small, well, this guy's missing, but you have a small plate down here. You get underneath here and you can access it down here. It also has a drain plug for the tank. This particular Cat had a rebar poke through the fuel tank. So try to keep your plate on there. If not, you might have some issues. I had to put some tank filler in there. It's like it's some stuff that you use to basically patch holes in fuel tanks and stuff. It's like JB Weld, but for fuel tanks. And yeah, those are the basics on this guy. Pretty easy to access. Compartment, grab in here, pull it out. That's about it. This particular machine has protections on the lights. This machine's involved in a lot of demo, so it has a lot of the gear like this stuff to protect the lights and protect everything else you have here. These are your auxiliary hydraulic lines. Anytime you have a bucket, a sweeper, a grappler, anything else that uses hydraulic, you're gonna have these attached to it. This is your safety bar. When you raise these guys all the way up, pull this guy out of there, this pin, and utilize him to stick in between the cylinder. So you're gonna sit this piece here on the cylinder, and that's for safety purposes. This machine has its extinguisher. Like all machines I mount here, on either side. I usually mount them that way they're able to access easily. You also have a little sunroof up there. This particular machine has the Cat code system. Some of them are just keys like this and you can just turn on, but this guy has the code system, so you got to enter a 4-digit code and then press enter within a certain amount of time for you to use the machine. If you enter the wrong code 3 or 4 times, it'll lock you out for like 30 minutes. This particular machine doesn't have too many options. It does have the bucket feature here. This is an odd option. Not all machines come with this, where you can switch between systems here. You have the normal operating system and the Cat system. One is called SAE and one is ESO, I believe is the difference in them. And one will change the joystick controls so that you need both to push forward to go forward, or you can use one that controls the wheel system, one to control the hydraulic functions on the machine. I prefer the number one, which is Cat. It's an easier system for me. It seems more up to date. On this side, we don't have much options there. We do have the lights, the hydraulic flow system, and the hydraulic lock on this side. Over here, of course, like most of them, you have speed controls there. When you're in the green, it's able to regen. This particular machine will regen itself. It doesn't have a button to regen. These newer models will do that on their own. Now, when you come here to control functions, here you have horn, you have hydraulic functions on these. All you gotta do is really look at the pictures here and you can see what everything's for. Now let's crank up this sucker, of course. Stick a key in there, enter the code, and you're ready to go. Of course, my keys are all bent, but you see how this cutoff system works. It wouldn't have actually let the machine turn on if you try to turn the key without the code, but I had entered the code. earlier. And so when you do that, it allows you to access the machine when you turn it off for about 30 minutes afterwards. You don't got to re-enter the code. This particular machine has a warning indicator. These yellow amber signs are warning indicators on cat machines. It's usually an issue, but an issue that's not too bad. When you have red indicators, let's say if this was in red, it would be an issue. You also have a rear view mirror, nice view. And escape from this guy, pull this, yank right out and push that window off. Fuse panel, like most cats on these little skid steers, is right here. Watch out, because it loves to get everything in the way there. And of course, same thing with these crossbars here, machine won't unlock unless these guys are down. Then you're able to unlock the parking and you're able to roll. If I have it on 1, I can operate this machine's move this machine with 1 hand and such. I think that's why some operators like the number 1. Then the other hand you would use to do control the functions of the hydraulic. Pretty basic. This is the hydraulics, the auxiliary. On this particular case, it'll be for the grappler on this guy. Auxiliary for the grappler there. You also have a pedal down on the bottom. You can push that and have your own control, like in a car, you know, just like in that. Or you can do it automatic. Like guys, here is this accelerator pedal is actually a decelerator as well. When you have this guy rated all the way up like that, you can use the pedal to decelerate him down some. It'll help you with your controls or movement if you got to slow down a little bit. And then as soon as you let him go, he's gonna go right back up. Or opposite way, you can have him all the way down here and then control him there, accelerate up. It's a very cool feature on cat.